Hi friends, this is Pastor Lucas Pin and this is our snack for the journey, and this week we are in the letter that Paul wrote to the Romans. He didn't know that church. He sent a letter to introduce himself and tell them what he believes about Christianity. So that was, and he was preparing to get there. So it's a great letter. So I'd like to encourage you to read the whole letter, and you're going to need to read more than one time. You need to read many times because it's a very important letter. But sometimes we need to read more. So what did it say here? And then we go back and then we start grasping the idea. But for the doctrine of Christianity, it's a great letter, very important letter. And before I read the verse for today, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe to our channel and to share this video with your friends and family and help us to bless other people. Verse for today, chapter 6, verse 18. 6 verse 18. Look what it says. You have been set free from sin and have become slaves of righteousness. That is a great verse. Because sometimes people think that, oh, I am a Christian, I'm forgiven, so I can do whatever I want. I can live the life the way I want. I want to be the kind of Christian that I think, that I like, and do everything that I want, that I like, and all that kind, that I please, and all that kind. Paul is saying, no, it doesn't work like that. We didn't change our status. We changed our owner. I'm going to say it again because I don't want you to misunderstand me because of my accent. We did not change our status. We changed our owner. We're still slaves. We were slaves of sin, and we're still slaves. We're saved, and now I am a slave of righteousness. What is that? What that means? I'm still a slave of God. I have to obey Him, obey His word, and behave in the way that He wants me to behave. This is what Paul is telling us here. We're still slaves. We're still slaves. You are a slave. I'm a slave. People that do not know Christ, they are slaves of sin. People who knows Christ, believes in Christ, are members of a church and all that, they are still slaves. They are slaves of righteousness. So we were slaves of sins, and by Christ we're saved and transported. And now we are slaves of righteousness. Slaves of righteousness. We become slaves. This is what there is another word that we use in theology that says sanctification. That is the process of sanctification. As soon as you become a Christian, you start that process. What that process is, the transformation of our lives. So we're going to become like Christ. So that is a transformation that's going to take all the way to heaven. So we're not going to stop this process. It's a long process. Sometimes it's going to be hard, difficult, but it's a long process. And to become a mature Christian, sanctification. We are slaves. We started this process. We're not saved because we are righteous. No, we already saw that. We're all sinners. But when we accept Christ, we start a process of become righteous. We're slaves of righteousness. We're going to obey God. We're going to have our lives transformed. Things that needs to be removed from our life will be removed. Things that I need to adapt and receive and start practicing, we're going to start that it's a long process, but we're still slaves. And this is what Paul is saying here. We were slaves, and we're still slaves. We're slaves of sin. Now we are slaves of righteousness, and we have to obey God. We have to obey God. That is our journey. And this is our snack for today. God bless you.